Hey everybody, this is Gabriel Gutierrez. I'm your host for the IWA show. We are so happy to have our guest Chris Lambrinedes with us. He's one of the owners of WCR, and you are a wonderful vendor for the IWCA. You've been with us for about how many years now? Have you been? Uh,
I started going to IWCA shows, I think in 2001. We didn't start WCR until 2007, and we couldn't afford to be a vendor when we first started.
yeah, Mike knows that.
Probably we started vendoring in like 2010, and
Yeah,
we've done it pretty consistently for 15 years. We maybe missed a year or two here or there, but
for sure. Well, we really appreciate you coming on and spending time. I know you're a busy guy. But a lot of people, we have people on here and, you're obviously very well known in the industry and you have the pro window cleaning group. So you're in there and you're active. But a lot of people may not know exactly, your background and who you are and everything that WCR does, especially for the window clean industry as a whole. So I wanted to just have you on just to get to know you a little better. So you began as a window cleaner, correct? You said in 1999?
yeah, in the spring of 1999, I got hired as a window cleaner. On my first day, I found out that the owner got a DWI, and I was actually hired to be his driver. So
Oh
I
my
learned window cleaning
goodness.
while I was there on route work. And that lasted about a month, maybe a month and a half max. And I was terminated for working too slow.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
but I really loved the job. It was like, it blew my mind because, you got to see all these really nice houses that I had
Hmm.
never seen before. I love that aspect of it, being around these nice things and seeing nice things every day. And the work was really gratifying because you could really see something tangible when you were done. You could stand back and see how much better it looked. And I
Yeah.
absolutely loved it. So I had a couple other little jobs in between there. But by the spring, or excuse me, by the fall of 1999, I think it was like September, I started passing out flyers. I bought like 96 bucks worth of equipment. And on my first day passing out flyers, when I came home on my answering machine, because didn't have a cell phone then, there was a nice lady who wanted an estimate. And I ran right back out, did the estimate, and did her windows the next day.
Wow. So
Yeah.
when you started getting going, like was this now you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this long term, or you're like, oh, I'm just gonna make a few bucks right in the beginning, like just for a little bit.
I decided by the end of the job, I would probably be doing that for life
Yeah.
because I made like 200 bucks in
Right.
like 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and I had never made that kind of money before. And I really had, at the age of 24, no other direction in life at all. And
Right.
that just like clicked with me. And I instantly knew, okay, this is going to be my thing.
Right, very cool. So you started, were you like kind of a go-getter? Like, were you like, okay, I'm going to grow this, I'm going to add trucks, I'm going to do this, or were you just kind of playing it by ear as you got bigger?
I didn't have any intentions of that at first. But after a couple months, the gears start turning. Well, if I had someone cleaning the screens for me and maybe doing those windows, I could
Hmm.
get twice as much work per day done. And it was probably by spring the next year that I had hired somebody and then
Okay,
hired somebody else that year. And
got it.
by the time I sold it, we had about 50 window cleaners working for us.
Wow. So that's big. That's a big production there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a big mess. It was a big unmanageable mess, dealing with 50, 18 to 22-year-olds and all that comes with that every single day.
Yeah, of course, of course. So when were you starting to think about now becoming a vendor? So did WCR grow out of that, or were you like, no, I need to put this business aside and I'm going to focus on this?
Uh, we started WCR exactly 18 years ago last week. And that was in 2007.
Okay.
And I ran the window cleaning business simultaneously until 2013 when
Got
I
it.
sold the window cleaning business and then really dedicated all my time to WCR.
Yeah. So what made you think to go into the supply side where you're going to be a vendor?
Well, It actually started as a community first. Going back in time, there was basically two window cleaning communities available. There was this thing called World Mail, and it was this email system. You maybe remember Gary Maurer. He was heavily
Oh, I
involved in the
I do
IWCA for
remember
many.
Gary Maurer. Yeah.
Yeah, he had this thing called World Mail, and it was pretty neat. There was just like this email address, and it just acted as a reply all to everybody that was opted in. And it was extremely heavily moderated. Gary was a very strict guy, no nonsense.
Yes.
But there was this other forum called NWCD, the National Window Cleaning Directory, and there was absolutely no moderation at all. It was a free for all. It was totally crazy, and I didn't really like either of those aspects, so we decided to put up a V Bulletin forum, they called it, that sort of blended those two concepts together. Free, but not that free, just a little
Hmm.
light moderation to keep it professional.
Hmm.
Uh, so we launched that in October 2007. And right around that time, like internet video started becoming really popular. Right before YouTube, there was this thing called Google Video, which we were using. And as soon as the forum went up, we kind of had the idea that, oh, we actually could sell supplies because like on the first day of the forum launching, there was like 500 window cleaners that opted into it. So
Hmm.
it seemed like there was something there.
Hmm.
Uh, so the idea probably after a month or so spiraled into, all right, we should be selling stuff, but we should be doing it a little bit different. So the whole idea originally behind the supply company was a product video for every video. Because back
Mm.
then, the 6 or 7 core distributors, they didn't all have websites. It was really only like ABC and Racenstein that had one. So I was like a little technically skilled. So I just sat down for like 3 months straight, whipped up a website, and then created that concept of a product video for every product. And we still
Interesting.
do
Yeah.
everything that comes or anything new that comes in, it goes straight to the photo video area first, where we, enable everybody to see things from all dimensions and in use.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. And it's one thing to understand the concept of a product, but to see it actually be used and explained and moved around three-dimensionally, see all the sides, yeah, it does make it much more real. That's really interesting. So when
Yeah,
you,
we had
oh, go ahead, John.
second channel in window cleaning. There was one guy that was before us called Don the Window Cleaner, and it was like a vlog before there was vlogs. He was just on the
Got it.
job site talking about his daily challenges.
Interesting. So you're starting to build this community. So when did the WCR, the forums come? Because you
In 2007, that was the
that was
first
it. That
launch.
was
Yeah,
it.
we launched the website, forum, and then eventually tacked onto it
Got
the
it.
store. Um,
Because
everybody called.
that's how I found you guys was through the forum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That forum is still up actually and
Hmm.
alive.
I see it. It
In
pops up
forum,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We put it into a more we laboriously put it into a more modern format because
Yeah.
the platform was kind of dying.
Very good. So now you have this community, and when did it get moved on to Facebook? Because you obviously have Pro Window Cleaning. It's the biggest forum that we have of a community of window cleaners on Facebook.
I
When did that happen?
I think it was probably around 2012 or 13. It was Facebook had just launched their groups feature. So I was like, we should, kind of check this out and start a group here. And probably within a year, it totally cannibalized the old forum because now everybody could, get their memes and their
Yeah.
Facebook cleaning content all in one. So that essentially killed the forum, even though it's still
Hmm.
up, but it sort of
Yeah.
just migrated all the traffic over to Facebook. Um, and I don't really love that happened, but there's no fighting it. It is what it is.
Right. Yeah, you go where the
Uh,
people go.
yeah, it really changed the community a lot because the original forum was very like business focused and
Hmm.
helpful
Hmm.
and no trolling or I mean, light trolling some
Yeah, yeah.
here, but for the most part, it was very professional and like really thousands of window cleaners went there to figure out how to start their business.
Hmm.
Uh, Everybody calls us WCR, but really the original company name and URL was Window Cleaning Resource
Right.
because we wanted to make it like a real true resource for window
Yes.
cleaners. Um, for example, like I had, my window cleaning business and all these operations manuals and documents we made up. So we put them up there for free for people to download. So we actually wanted to give people, resources to build their business. And now on Facebook, you see what happens when you go in pro window cleaning. It's crazy. There's no controlling that
Yeah,
mob.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's a lot. It's a lot for sure. Um, just kind of on that note, and this is one thing that I really I admire about a WCR as a whole because it's something that as a business owner myself, I'm always thinking about, is the work that you guys have done with your branding. So you've got it to where people want that WCR shirt. They want the sticker on their bucket. They want something, the hat, the fragrance, thing that hangs on the rear view mirror. So
Yeah.
and it's you guys have been able to build yourselves as synonymous with professional window cleaning. Can you talk a little bit about the efforts you guys went to get to that point and how you really you guys I think you use social media so well in that regard that a lot of companies, not that they ignore it because they don't, they do pay attention to it, but the effectiveness in which you guys use social media to build that brand where your customers want to have your logo, your trademarks on them as an indication of their professionalism.
Yeah, that wasn't actually intentional.
Good.
What I think happened is, you see that like this fist
Hmm.
is really cool. This is my friend Chris from California. He held his CG up and it created a shadow on the hood of his car, and he took a picture of the shadow, and that's what that is. And, when I saw this, I instantly did like a license deal with him so we
Hmm.
could, pay him yearly to be able to use this image. And then a couple of years later, it took me like I thought about this endlessly. It took me a couple of years to come up with the entire logo. And I think why it almost could just be seen as like window cleaner, like just like I'm a window cleaner, not it's not it doesn't seem like it's coming from some other company, like a window
Hmm.
cleaner could wear it and it represents them almost, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But I think you guys do a really good job of so like for instance with your outreach. So you've got Jersey who's on board with you. You've got Steve-O who's on board with you. I know Luke's back. I know he did a lot of work with you back, and now he's back active, which is really awesome because I've always really enjoyed his videos. Um, you say that there wasn't thought into it, but there had to have been some type of strategy to be able to gain these people who, obviously are very visible in the industry and really pillars to a lot of people who started their business, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Um, what is your goal with when you started, connecting with these people? What was your goal?
Um, well, it originally started as us, all these like influencer type
Hmm.
people sort of came in after I sold my window cleaning business, because when I had that, we had instant access to content. I could give tools to my window cleaning
Yeah.
company. We'd go out and do photo shoots and stuff like that. But when I sold it, I lost the ability to do that. So we started working with some local window cleaning people and stuff like that. And we still do, and that works okay. But through the rise of social media, various popular people have popped
Hmm.
up. So it sort of just made sense to me that all the popular people should be using our stuff. So we
Hmm.
just started sending them all free stuff and didn't really ask for anything back, but they just started, making videos for us and pieces of content and stuff like that. And that eventually grew into a few of them starting to work here, like Jersey and Steve-O.
Yeah, well, it's you guys have just done a really great job of cornering that. I feel like as s- small business owners, or this is the reason why I'm talking about this. We have to be very cognizant of um, what our branding is and who we're connected with, who we're associated with, that type of thing. And it could be locally, it could be getting connected with some of the bigger, more well-known, company, especially those who own businesses that are complementary to ours. I'm a good friend with a person who works for a restoration company, carpet, tile. fire restoration, mold remediation. They don't do windows, so they're good people for me to know and to be connected with. And but you want to be with someone who's got a good reputation and is very visible in your community. So I just think you guys set a really good example for that, and you did such a good job of, like you talked about, the influencers. You really jumped on that early, and I feel that really laid the groundwork for your future branding that you guys had and how effective it was going to be. And I think the thing I appreciate about you guys too, Chris, is you guys always are working on it. I don't think I've ever got the feeling that WCR rests on its laurels. You guys are always looking
I,
for something to innovate with, and I think that's really cool.
yeah, we're trying. I feel like even though we've been doing this for 18 years, I feel like we're just getting started. Because there's just something new to do every day, you know?
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, the IWCA has always appreciated our relationship with you guys. So you mentioned you've been coming to conventions since 2000, at first with your business and then with WCR. What is your goal at the trade show? Because you guys, you've got WCR, and I know Zero's under that umbrella as well. And when you go to a convention, what are your goals out there? Because obviously you're not going to sell something to every single person who comes up to your booth. But what do you hope to accomplish at the conventions?
The primary goal is to shake hands with every single person in the 3D space that we chat with online all day. Like literally that's it. Like we just want to meet new people that we've been chatting with online and say hi to old friends. That it literally just that. Uh, we don't make money at those conventions. We lose money,
Yeah.
but we, assume it probably comes back throughout the year from all the relationships. The IWCA was really instrumental in my window cleaning business growing. To take a step back,
Mhm.
um, because locally here, anytime I tried to talk to one of my competitors, they were extremely unfriendly to me. And when I went to my first conference, I could instantly see like, oh wow, you can make a real professional business from this, and you get to chat with no friction to other window cleaning business owners, which I just didn't experience at home. And
Right.
that was like, that's what it's about for me, for like a window cleaner to go, is
Yeah.
to have those open conversations with a whole bunch of people that are in various stages of business, new businesses, ones that are in growth stages, mature businesses, and everyone's like really super open and nice, and you can just chat with
Yeah.
everybody. No one is hiding anything. It's very
Yeah.
nice.
No, that was the impression I got too when I first came, as I felt, you want to be respectful of people, and you don't want to step on anyone's toes or make them feel like you're trying to get something from them that they're trying to hold on to. But I never got that impression at my first couple of IWCA conventions, where I still felt kind of new. You meet people and they take you to lunch and they talk with you and ask you what you need help with, and I always thought that was really cool. Um,
Yeah, it really legitimized the idea of window cleaning being a real business to me, because it
mhm,
just sort of seemed like this like fun side thing I was doing, even though it was my
yeah.
main thing. No, it didn't really seem like serious.
Yeah, yeah, Virgos. Very cool. Well, I appreciate your roots in the IWCA and how much WCR has helped us. One other aspect too that I think we are really appreciative of, and a lot of our vendors as well, but you guys have really put a focus on PPE. And that's really come in the last few years where we're really starting to pay more attention to that, especially with using the water-fed poles. We are being made more aware of the risks of electrocution. When we're using solar, water-fed poles to clean solar panels. That those panels are live. We're dealing with again holding carbon fiber poles. We're on roofs. So can you talk a little bit about it's not even really a shift, but now I guess more of an emphasis that WCR has had on the PPE and safety equipment.
Yeah, it probably started 2 or 3 years ago, um, and it came from two primary areas. One, I took a look at how many poles we were actually selling, and it's a lot of them. Like we're, you know, probably putting out more water-fed poles in the United States than all the other vendors combined. It's many, many, tens of thousands of poles a year. So there's that. And with that, I started seeing little like accidents pop up. Um, and I started hearing about things that just started to seem more frequent. And then Steve-O actually told me that that year he of all the water-fed packages he sold, he estimated about 30% of them were going to kids under the age of 18.
Wow.
And I guess that's been from like, the startup
Yeah.
sweat hustle that's happening on TikTok and stuff
Yeah.
like that, where
Hmm.
all these kids are coming in here. Like literally all summer, I can from my little pod here, I can see the front door. At least 4 kids per day would come in here between May, June,
Wow.
July, and August to do a pickup of an order, and that's not
Wow.
even all the online ones. So I started thinking like, oh my god, all these kids are getting these. And I was a kid, and you don't really use your brain. You take a lot of shortcuts. You're not being careful. You're not reading the instructions. You're not paying attention to the label on it.
Yeah.
So, between the combination of all these kids buying and just the massive volume, I quickly realized it's something we have to start taking like really, really super serious.
Yeah.
Um, and with that, like the PPE gear we do sell on our website, we sell all that at our cost. We don't make a profit on that because we're like super serious about getting everyone into it. I've had one person working for like a full year alone just on creating safety content because it's so serious.
Yeah. Well, that's the first thing that I did. When we had the last IWCA convention, we did the keynote speaker with Jason Knight. And he had I mean, just a really heartfelt expression. Him and his dad, John, they really, they made it real. I mean, they really made it real. And at the convention, so I have two main zero poles that are the micros, and so I bought a fiberglass. I just bought a bunch of the fiberglass sections, so that way if they shed sections, they can still add to. That way, there's two sections at the bottom that are insulated, and I I was surprised at how inexpensive they were, and I asked about it, and that's what was said. It was like, no, you know what, we're doing it at cost. We just want, if you want it, then you should be able to get it at that, at the least amount, which, that's super generous, and that's super, it's very responsible, and I just appreciated you guys doing that. But yeah, both the poles that we have, including also bought a solar panel pole, which has the wider brush. That one has alternating insulated sections, which I appreciate that. And so yeah, the availability of the safety features, whichever you want to take advantage of, is there. And it wasn't there, 4 or 5 years ago. It wasn't there. So you guys have really done a really good job of not only just having them available, making them aware of it.
Yeah.
That's, I
We
think, more important.
we don't advertise this. It's not on the product pages or anything like that. But starting at the end of 2024, every single pole we make, even if it's not a safety pole, has an extremely thin layer of fiberglass on the outside just to give people a little added protection. And like we don't advertise that because I don't want people to get overconfident with it because it's
Yeah.
really not, but like I'm just putting it there just in case for them.
And you really touched on kind of an important thing, and this is, very understandable for all vendors, because you are, on one hand, you want to provide the safety features, but at the same time, you also know there's no such thing as 100% safety. So
Very territory.
you guys are balancing that line of, hey, we want to put this in the hands of people to use, but then we don't want to give overconfidence where they use it improperly and it negates the safety feature. And
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people appreciate that, the fine line. I hope that we can get some type of standards down where it can, and mainly education. I think education is the most important thing, is making it more well known. But like you said, if you've got 30, guys in a week, buying water-fed poles, it's hard to keep up with that flow of new people coming and trying to train them, and trying to get them up to where they can use this equipment safely. It's a hard thing, and I know everyone's really trying to work hard on that, and it's a big concern for the IWCA as well. Um,
There's a lot of poles out there. Like we ship out at a minimum 50 a day.
yeah.
There is a lot of them. and
Yeah.
people do not read the instructions. We have a big we started earlier this year putting this gigantic printed safety card in with
Hmm.
the poles. We just last month have this like tag thing we put on the poles in a very difficult to get off way. So they actually have to futz with it to, and really like really they really want them to read it, please.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know, I just I appreciate that. Even a lot of the affiliates, like I went on with Squeegee Life with TJ and the guys there, and they had Kevin Hargis on, had a really good show just the week before on safety, and that's not an audience that typically is worried about or talking about safety. So the fact that we're starting to see it in even discussions outside of the professional realm of people who are saying, "Hey, look, yeah, look, I don't want to tell you what to do. I don't want to tell you how to run your business or live your life, but hey, we don't want people to die. Why are we needlessly allowing people to die? Just learn, take the time to learn what you're using.
Yeah.
That's really important, and that's definitely something the IWC has tried to work on. But with WCR's branding, that's what we're really excited about, is that it's starting to get out to those new guys, those young guys who might not give attention to a more professional setting, but coming from someone like Jersey, coming from someone like Steve O, those are the ones who are going to can make the connection that hopefully opens their eyes on that.
Yeah, totally. Um, that Kevin episode of this Kevin Hargis on Squeegee Life was really great. That was a
Yeah,
phenomenal episode. We ended up like pulling about 10 clips out of that we put on our safety page of different
nice.
talking points. Kevin, he really knows his stuff with that.
Yeah.
Something he said in there really stuck with me, and it was related to the overconfidence thing. He basically, the analogy I think was seatbelts. When seatbelts came out, actually more deaths happened because people had overconfidence.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
another thing we're doing actually now is anytime we do every 2 weeks, we do like a professional style photo shoot with local people. We do that like 5 months out of the year just to have, content to use for the year.
Hmm.
And starting at the beginning of this year, all of those photo shoots feature the safety products intentionally. So
Nice.
you'll see, Insa poles and the rubber boots and the gloves and stuff like that, just
Yep.
so like people see it and start thinking, oh, that's normal. That's
That's
normal. And
normal. That's it.
we get a
That's
lot
it.
of crazy comments on social media, and we're like, no, really, like, yeah, actually, we're not trying to sell you something, but like, you
Yeah.
should really look into this.
Yeah. One other thing that I just want to mention, that I've really appreciated, before we head out, since we're just about out of time here, is the injured window cleaner fund that you guys have, and it has really come through to help some people in the past. Could you talk a little bit about the formation of that, and what the motivation was, but also how what you guys have seen as a result of setting that up?
So, operating pro window cleaning, we would see a lot of GoFundMe's from injured window cleaners from all sorts of different injuries, both super minor and super major, and we were contributing to them. Uh, so then a couple of years ago, we decided just to put a fixed allotment in the budget each year that we knew we had to spend for
Mm.
these type of things. We put 100K in it for 2025. And anytime we see a GoFundMe or anything like that, or if someone fills out the application on the website that they were injured, we'll contribute to it. Anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 to $10,000, depending on. We try to kind of really like gauge the seriousness of
Sure,
it.
sure. Yeah, of
All
course.
right, this guy broke his back. Let's give this guy 10 grand. This guy cut his finger. Maybe 1,000.
Sure.
But we've actually had trouble giving all the money away this year, and we still have a nice chunk in there. So by all
Yeah.
means, if you guys ever come across anybody, please do direct them to us because we're more than happy to contribute and give back to the industry.
Yeah, that's great. And has there ever been one that's especially touched you, or that you could really see that it made a difference?
Jason Knight, for sure. That was a huge one. Um, and my friend Jeff's brother really touched me. I can't remember his last name, but he's very active in pro window cleaning.
Mhm.
And he was in a very serious coma this year, like big head injury, like
Mm.
on the cusp of dying, like very,
Yeah,
very serious. I think that was from a ladder fall.
yeah,
But man, you know how it is in this business. If your body isn't operating, you're not making money, and
that's it.
that's what it comes down to. Like
And,
you're,
and that ties in with the whole safety thing, and I think it's easy to say, oh, what are you afraid of a ladder climb, or you're afraid of this, or or like you say, you're young, cutting corners because you think you're invincible and you can do all this, but one injury, all of a sudden you're the equivalent of a 90-year-old guy, right? You
oh
you
yeah,
can't you can't move, you can't support your family, all the struggles and pains, like not just the physical pain, which that's going to be brutal enough, but now the struggle of your family, your extended family has to go through. Or even if you're a single guy, you've got parents who love you, you got parents who are right there, in pain with you because they don't want to see their child in that condition. So anything we can do to help someone avoid that. But then it's nice to know that there's companies like yourself, like WCR, that can, if it does happen, we don't want it to happen, but hey, maybe we can alleviate some of the financial burden that you might have, hospital bills, or need some equipment that was destroyed in a fire or something like that. So
yeah.
just really, really cool thing that you guys do. So thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem. When I was a much younger window cleaner, I was very attracted to the unregulated aspect, the Wild West aspect of window cleaning. There's no rules, there's no structure. You just do whatever you want. But as I age, get older and I see all these injuries, I'm like, oh
Uh,
my God, someone's got to do something.
Yeah, I'm a pretty cautious guy. The stuff that I did that was unsafe was more out of ignorance than trying to be a cowboy or anything like that. But definitely, once I turned 40, I'm 51 now, but once I turned 40, and then once I had my daughter, those were two steps that really made me take a step back and say, what am I doing? Am I really going to climb this 32-foot ladder for this one window that, I'm charging them $10? Is my life really $10 on this? And
Yeah,
it just really kind of made me reevaluate how I was running my business and what things I was doing that might have put my family at risk.
yep.
So yeah, hopefully we all get to that point a little sooner than later.
Yeah, I think with ladder injuries, that's much more easy to be cognizant of.
Mhm.
But the water fed pole thing is
Mhm.
insidious because most people wouldn't logically think that electric, you don't even have to touch the wire. That electric could jump 10 feet. It could arc right over to you. And like that, it's not logical. You wouldn't just think that out of the box. So you
No.
gotta be telling everybody all the time.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time, Chris. It was really great to get to know you a little better. Appreciate everything that you guys are doing. Anything you want to promote before we close up shop here?
No, just be safe out there, people. Thank you, Gabe. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. And the IWCA appreciates everything WCR does. If you guys want more information, you can feel free to go to WCR.com. Got a lot of information on safety there, and also get to take a good look at the safety equipment that they have and the PPE that's available for purchase. So thanks again. You guys have a great day. And thank you, Chris. You guys take care.